Hello, everyone. You are welcome once again to today's lesson. And in today's lesson, just as you can see on your screens, we are going to look at the solution to the class test, which was on the topic permutations and combinations. So quickly, let's go and look at the solution as I walk you through the solution. In actual fact, okay, what we are going to look at will be the marking scheme. So you use it to mark the assignment or the test, I should say, okay, that you wrote. So I have gone through your work as always, and as I walk you through the solution, I will address, okay, your concerns, especially the major ones. Okay, so please stick and stay with me whilst I walk you through the solution. Okay, so the first question, in how many ways, so question 1A, can the letters of the word Saskatchewan be arranged if there are no restrictions? Okay, so as usual, okay, so you know vowels must be together, vowel must not be together. Okay, then we come to B. Okay, so let's look at the A. Okay, and three words, babies that we have here. So what do we have? So giving, okay, your word, Saskatchewan. Now, if there are no restrictions, then you know your number of ways, okay, which is what the question is looking for, will be equal to, what do? You count. So you count your letters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you count, you are going to get 12 of them. So it will be 12 factorial. Okay, but please, you know, like I told you in our lessons on permutations and combination, especially where you have duplicates or permutations and combination in general, but to be specific permutation, I told you that whenever you are arranging all the letters, okay, it will be your number of letters factorial all over. You check whether you have duplicates. If you have any duplicate, at least one duplicate letter, okay, then it means your denominator ceases to be 1. If there are no duplicates, all your letters are distinct, then in that case, it will just give you your n factorial. So here, our n, which is the number of letters, will be 12 factorial over, and we can see, okay, 2s, so it will give you 2 factorial. And again, you can see 3 of them. So that will give us what times 3 factorial. Okay, so you know. So at this point, you know how to simplify this. Okay, you write 12 factorial to contain 3 factorial. Okay, and you know that one. So as for the simplification, we are all experts. So 12 factorial will contain 3 factorial. So you have 12, okay, all the whole numbers below 12 up to 3 factorial, because that's where your interest is. Then this 3 factorial will be kept. This 2 factorial we know is 2. So you move from here, you use your calculator to get this. Even at this point, we could have used our calculator to do 12 factorial, write its value 2 factorial, and times 3 factorial. But in the lesson, because I wanted you to be more familiar, to familiarize yourself with the computational formula for permutation as well as combination, I asked you to write it, okay, this way. All right, so now let's go. I vowels must be together. So you know, I told you that anytime your restricted objects must be together, you need to put your restricted objects together and consider that as a unit. Put that in bracket. That's what she did. Okay, so here vowels must be together. So you go and pick all the vowels in Saskatchewan. Okay, you put them together as a unit. So now you are counting. Your number of ways will be the number of letters here. Okay, so you count. The whole of this will be treated as 1. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that will give you 9 factorial. Do you have any duplicates? Yes, I can see 2 S's there. So I'm going to get over 2 factorial. But that is not all. Remember, the formula is the number of ways of arranging your restricted, your word, taking your restricted, okay, letters as a unit, then times, okay, the number of ways of arranging your restricted words and letters. So now we are coming to times the number of ways of arranging the restricted objects. And here, unfortunately, our restricted objects are not the same. So it means that factor times the number of ways of arranging your restricted objects will not be 1. But fortunately, we know how to deal with that. So again, it's like now you've been given those to arrange. Okay, the letter A, E, A to arrange. Forgive me. So now what do we have? We are going to go our usual way. The number of ways of arranging, you count 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 factorial, do you have duplicates? Yes, I have 3 A's. So over 3 factorial. So from here on, you know you should be able to do this. Don't forget the marks what's attached. And if this happens to be your rough way, don't forget to cancel it. Okay, so that will be it for the II. Now let's go to III. III, what are we looking for? Vowels must not be together. So we know that the number of ways where you are looking at your restricted object must not be together will be equal to your total arrangement, which is arrangement with no restrictions, then minus the arrangement with your restricted objects together. So it means indirectly, III is supposed to be your I minus II. So you can move, it's not necessary to write this. Okay, you can move from that to what you have here straight away. If there is anything for you to write, maybe you have to write arrangement with restricted, okay, I mean, with no restriction minus arrangement with restricted objects, in this case, vowels together, then you come and write this. But this will be fine. Okay, so this will give you 2 marks. Then you use your calculator to do this. That would be the final answer, A1. So take note of that. Okay, now the B, and that is where most of you struggle. The solution that you have there, ordinarily, okay, the person did a very good work, okay, but at a point, because the person did not adhere to a specific instruction, a direct instruction given, and I've been giving you this instruction for a long time, okay, she lost the whole, okay, from here. I think she got only, she will get only the B, okay, have that, you have the, but everything here will be wrong. And very soon you will know why. Okay, I believe some of you, you can see when they, especially those who take note of all the major advice, okay, that I give. You know, I've told you, with this one, you've been given this, you extract as always. Okay, you need to know the computational formula for, so we are going to use the computational formula for combination as well as for permutation. So that's what she did. So the whole of this is the numerator. Okay, the whole of this. And you can see that it means the person knew, okay, or yes, indirectly took note of the advice that I gave because the person put this one in brackets. Okay, so meaning this is now going to be considered as what? As a term indirectly. Or because it's not a term, you have to put it in bracket because I've given you that advice. Anytime before you change the division bar to the division symbol, make sure that what comes after and before the division symbol, okay, that you are going to write must be a single term, either a single fraction or a term before and after. But here, if it is not a single fraction, it's not a term, you have to put, okay, before and after what you have, the expressions there in bracket. Before she put that in bracket, but after, obviously, how many terms do you have? You have 2 terms. So if you fail to put this in bracket, this is in bracket, all right, but this will mean, without this in bracket, it will mean only this one, the whole of this one divided by n squared, which shouldn't be the situation. So it means, okay, here, more than a term, so bracket should have been here as well. That is where the problem starts. Okay, so once this is wrong, you know, okay, definitely what is going to happen. So ideally, remember I gave you a cure when you encounter this situation. If you wanted to make, okay, this one just a single term, you could have done, okay, your n squared, you could have written that as divided by n squared minus n all over 1. Or better still, you can also write it divided by, then factorize. Immediately you factorize, it becomes a term. So n into n minus 1. So it's a term. So in that case, if you fail to put the whole of this in bracket, no issue. But you cannot choose not to put this in bracket. So at the point that you are changing, I've told you, be very, very careful. When you are changing the bar, division bar to the division symbol, you have to tread cautiously. Before and after, make sure what you have there, whatever you are going to write, will be a single fraction. If it's not a single fraction, then you have to put your terms before and the terms after your division symbol, okay, in bracket. But I've told you, when you introduce bracket you are introducing operation. The purpose is to remove operation. but not to introduce an operation. However, the introduction of the operation, if sometimes, okay, if it will be convenient for you to do so, you do so. But here you could have ignored. So meaning you could have written this one, okay, all over. So you don't change the division bar to the division symbol at that point, because you know that the numerator has not been expressed as a single fraction, and the denominator too, not a single fraction at that point. So it's only the point that you change that. So per presentation along the line, this should have been in brackets, this should have been in brackets, this should have been in brackets. Okay, this equally should have been in brackets, then brackets as well. Okay, I guess my point is well made. So it means from here, this will be M0, A0. Unfortunately, okay, the majority of the work, which is here, she did it perfectly. Because she did not heed advice. Okay, look at what has happened to all of us. In fact, the marks, okay, are for us anyway. So here, you know, well, this is what she did. She realized that, like I told you, she simplified this term, equally simplified this. This n factorial can contain n minus 3 factorial. So that's when we know that 3 factorial will give us what, 6. The same for this, n can contain n minus 3 what factorial. So that's exactly what she did here too. Okay, so at this point, what do? You know, this term will no longer contain factorial. This will also no contain factorial. Okay, so you can, it's not necessary for you to, if you factorize this, if you had factorized, because you know you are going to simplify, I've told you anytime you have a numerator, denominator, okay, before you can easily see that something can cancel to reduce or simplify, both your numerator expression, denominator must be, okay, factorized. So here, the denominator, like I said, okay, can be factorized. So if she had factorized that from the beginning, the problem, okay, wouldn't, okay, have been, okay, there. So in this case, you write this as a single fraction. It's not necessary to expand, but she expanded because she saw n squared minus n in this. So there is no issue. She can expand. Okay, but I said it's not necessary. If you factorize it, you see that the n will cancel, then the n minus 1 will also cancel. So you achieve the same purpose. So I guess my point is well made. So at this point, okay, you take this as a single, I mean, it writes the single fraction form of this. So you take the LCM. So you can see that, okay, from here, I didn't give any marks here. So it means you could have moved from here, okay, where you did your cancellation, okay, to this particular step, then move from here to this particular step. Only that, okay, she decided to expand only this term, this factor and this factor. Okay, but you could have kept that like I said, and this would have still been n into n minus 1. Okay, in that case, you factorize this later and cancel. So the rest of the algebra, I know, single fraction, you should be able to deal with this. So at this point, you change the division sign to multiplication and you invert. Okay, so when you invert, numerator will come out. So in this case, the brackets will not be necessary. And she realized that n squared minus n can cancel n squared minus n. Okay, and again, you could see that this term here is the same as the term that is here. Okay, if she didn't factorize, she could have also seen that what you have here, okay, would have given you your this term plus that. So that would have been 7 times n minus 1 times n minus 2. That is without the factorization. Then later, it will be n into n minus 1 here. The n will cancel this n, okay, and okay, the n minus 1 will cancel that n minus 1. So if the expansion was not done for that one, then n minus 1 would be here, n into n minus 1 would be here, n into n minus 1 would be here. But there will be like terms, just as she saw that when she expanded the like term. So this you can add to give you 7. So, but if you didn't expand, then it would have been 7, okay, then times n into n minus 1, then into n minus 2. Okay, then all over your n into n minus 1. So it will be 7 over 6, sorry. Okay, the n minus 1. In that case, your denominator will be factorized. So this will cancel, and you end up getting the same result. So from here, she could have drawn the conclusion at this point. But she realized that, okay, she didn't think before writing, so she had to come and draw the conclusion here as well. So in all, the total marks will be what? 23 plus 1 bonus mark. And this is how I'm going to distribute the bonus mark. Okay, when you get 22 up to 20, so let me use 21 up to 23. Okay, up to 23. Okay, if you sum what you've done and you had 21, add 1 to it, so it will be 22 out of 24 for question 1. If you had 22, add 1, so that will give you 23 out of 24. If you scored everything 23, then it will be plus. You get the full bonus mark. So that will be it for question 1. Now let's go and look at what question 2. Okay, so some this question, okay, some of you struggled, and I wondered why you struggled. Okay, because maybe you didn't see a question in the same form. But this question, I mean, is very trivial anyway. Okay, so let's look at what we have there. So we are told Adam and his wife were invited to a dinner by a family of 5. So it means, okay, now if you add Adam and the wife, okay, you are going to have what? 7 people. So then they all sat in such a way that Adam sat next to his wife. Find the number of ways of seating them in a row. So again, we are talking about linear. The question is just being more like linear, okay, permutation. But I've told you, if you don't have sufficient information to know that, okay, what you have there is circular, you are always dealing with what linear. So in this, it's the same thing. This question is similar to, in fact, it's basically what we did when we were looking at what people being seated, irrespective of the number, where there is a restriction. So here, the restriction is that, okay, the seating is supposed to be done in such a way that Adam and his wife must be together. Okay, so it's like 7 people, okay, that you have there, seat them in such a way that 2 particular people must be together, basically. Only that here, the 2 particular people, you use Adam and what, and the wife. That's it. So as usual, giving, so 2A, don't forget to number, giving 7 people. Okay, number of ways will be, you know, what do we do? Remember we said use strokes to represent your line, rough work, but she is matured, you can choose not to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so if 2 particular must sit, meaning this is Adam and the wife, at any point in time, they must sit next to each other. Okay, so meaning they must be together. In this case, you know, okay, you consider this as a unit when you are counting. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that will give you your 6 factorial. You have duplicates? No. Human beings, there is no way you get duplicates. And that's not all. Then times the number of ways of arranging your restricted objects. So 1, 2. So that will give you 2 factorial. Any duplicates? No, because we are dealing with human. That's exactly what she has. Okay, so you can see the marks okay allocated. So at this point, you can use your calculator to deal with it. Now that you know how to simplify or use what do you call the permutation or combination, okay, or even in this case factorial to deal with it. Okay, so that will be it for question 2A, and that the total will be 4.5. Okay, you can see I've written the total for each sub question and what have you before the entire major question. Okay, so now let's come to B. B, another interesting question. Okay, so, and take notes, this question that you have here, okay, is WASI Nigeria 2024. So Nigeria WASI 2024. So if we're able to do this, then it means indeed, okay, you have arrived. And she did justice to that, only that at a point, okay, she was writing more, but that's okay. If you are writing more to play it safe, rather than to show some sort of maturity and lose certain marks. So the step that will not be necessary, you see that I won't give marks there. Okay, so in this case, okay, you extract, so B half, and we know ratio means this over that, so that's over that. So what you use again, the combination, okay, definition to deal with each of what you have there. 9 combination, now we know give us 9 factorial over 9 minus n factorial, then times n factorial, and the same for this. So 8 factorial over, in brackets, 8 minus n minus, and take notes, okay, and I'm addressing somebody's concern. Please, it is 8 minus n minus 2. So if you write it this way, you are doomed, because you are writing after the negative. I've told you anything that comes after the negative. In any case, I've even advised you, always play anytime you are substituting, put it in bracket to avoid this trouble. But the person, okay, invited what trouble by not what putting, okay, this the n minus 2 in bracket. Immediately you fail to do that, the meaning changes. It means the negative is affecting only the n. But meanwhile, it is minus the whole of this. So you put it in bracket. So in that case, if you simplify, you get 8 minus n, then plus 2, which in effect will give you, okay, 10 minus n. So she had that, okay, yeah. But at this point, she inverted that, okay, and did a simplification. But my point is, she could have, okay, written the 10, but it's okay. The simplification is fine. Okay, so you move on, okay, up to, at this point, you know, my advice is anytime you are expanding, any check, okay, which one will contain which one. So at this point, you know, when you are going to expand, you know that your, what do you call it? Let me put it this way. Okay, your 10 minus n can contain the 9 minus, that 10 minus n factorial can contain 9 minus n factorial. So you expand up to that. Okay, so this should have been straight away, okay, instead of doing 10 minus n minus 1, you know you can do it mentally. So this should have been 10 minus what? N minus 1 mentally, which will give us what? 9 minus n. So she could have written this here straight away. So move from here to here, and the others as well. You can see that the n here can contain n minus 2. So when you are expanding this to contain this one, you check if there is any other to expand to contain any other. So this, so you do the expansion, everything at the same time. And she decided to do it factor by factor. Okay, so that's okay. So that's why here there is, so you could have moved from here to here straight away, and the cancel. And at this point, this one too, you can move from here to this particular one. Okay, then you move on. So at this point, I think the work becomes trivial. Okay, instead of multiplying, okay, I am matured, and equally you could, somebody can multiply through by the, or cross multiply, I should say, at this point. Again, because this one has 9 in the numerator and 9 here, I can see that, okay, the whole of what I have here, okay, should be equal to 9, because this is 9 times the whole of this, and this also the same as 9 times 1 over 4. So it means 1 over 4 will be equal to this. Okay, so I can move from here to here straight away. Okay, without multiplying. So that's why there is no max here. And after that, now you cross multiply. And when you cross multiply and you expand, when you are moving, you move everything at the same time. So you can see that she moved, okay, the terms in n, okay, because obviously you can see a quadratic. Once a quadratic, you know that you are going to solve by, okay, moving everything to one side. So when you are moving, you do everything at once. So that's why, okay, these 2 steps here, no max, because you could have done the movement from here to here straight away to get your, okay, equation, quadratic equation to solve, and you know how to solve. Okay, fortunately for you, your leading coefficient is 1. So you look at factors of minus 40, factor pair. That's when you multiply, you get minus 40. When you add, you get 3, positive 3, and that will be 8 and what? And negative 5. So you proceed. Remember, I've told you, don't use bracket to group here. Group mentally the first 2 factorize, last 2 factorize. And now, when you set each of the factors to 0, very critical, you cannot move from here to your answers straight away. So if you move from here to your answers, okay, you will forfeit this marks. Okay, and again, here it is not necessary. I've told you, for your n, if you look at where your n is, the n cannot be negative. So immediately you get a negative, you don't go and test, because you should know before you test that, okay, it cannot be negative. Okay, so for combination to, just like said, and what again, log, okay, you have, okay, restrictions on whatever you are dealing with, so check. Okay, for said, I told you that you have to show, you have to test the validity of your solution. But for log and what do you call it? Yes, now permutation or combination. Okay, you test mentally. I said you show your testing. That's the difference. So here, this what you have here is not necessary. You could have moved from here to your conclusion straight out. And maybe you can add comma and greater than what 0, if you like. So with the question 2 to the entire marks will be what 23 plus bonus 1. Okay, so making it 24. So with this one too, if you had 21, okay, to 23, okay, I'll give you the bonus mark of what? Of 1. So anything within this, you get your bonus mark. So you add 1 to whatever that you added it. But below that, you won't get any of the bonus. Take note of that. Okay, any rough way, don't forget to strike it out. Okay, all right. Okay, so now let's move on to, okay, that's of what, question 3. So another familiar question. Okay, and this was a question that I expected almost all of you to get it, but to my disappointment, some of you didn't. But no issues, we are learning. So learn from your mistakes so that next time you won't repeat them. So question 3, this is what we have. A student is to answer 6 out of 8 questions in an examination. How many choices has she? Okay, if she must answer A, any question, B, okay, so we'll take them one after the other then as we work through what you have there. I've told you before you start solving question, make sure you read the entire questions to take note of very vital information. Okay, so now what do we do? Okay, I've told you that extract, okay, your total number of questions, very critical. So giving 8 questions, that is okay. I didn't give any marks there. Okay, so now A, therefore, number of, if there are no restrictions, okay, meaning if any question could be answered, then you know you have 8 questions answering was so that would be 8, choosing 6. Okay, so in this case, somebody could have written number of choices just to be more specific, okay, to what you have. But number of choices is the same as number of ways. So if you use number of ways, no issues. So always stick to what you have. But you could pay attention to detail and present your answer in the same manner. So in this case, maybe the number of choices would have been better. Okay, so at this point, you know how to complete. Continue from here. Okay, so you continue and that will give you what you have here. Look at the marks. Then number of ways. So B, you said the first or the second, okay, but not both. So remember, okay, what I taught you. So first or the second, but not both. That's what we are going to look at. What? Sorry, B is the first 3 questions, forgive me. The first 3 questions. So remember, I've told you, whenever you have that situation, use strokes to represent each of the questions from rough work. Okay, very critical, especially if you are not matured, to play it safe. So first 3 questions, meaning I break the questions down into first 3 and the other, 5 questions. So the first 3, the condition is that I need to answer first 3, the first 3 questions. So I'll have 3, okay, to answer 3 from. So that will give you your 3 combination 3. Then after answering 3 in all, I'm supposed to answer 6 questions. So I have 3 more to select, but from the remaining 5, and that will be, okay, 5 combination 3. So perfectly done. So the rest of the algebra you can do. So even with this one, the one, okay, you could anyway, it's okay, but you can choose not to write it because it will change your, or whatever that you have. Okay, so you move on. Or even with this one, you could have written 5 combination 3 straight away because you know that this will give you 1. Okay, so if somebody writes 5 combination 3 there without this, knowing that this will give you 1. Okay, no, so you can write it, you get a full score. Take note. Then the C. C is the first or the second question, but not both. Remember, I gave you, we did questions of this sort. I gave you an assignment, okay, and we went through the solution to the assignment together. So some of you had it wrong. In fact, most of you had it right. So those who had it wrong, an opportunity, okay, to make amends. So here, what do we do? So as usual, this is what we have. Okay, so we are going to look at exactly this. So we said the first or the second question, but not both. So you are looking at first or second, so you rule your line or draw your line. So first 2 questions, that's where you have your restriction and the rest of the questions. Okay, so you know, first 2 questions, I told you that if you answer question 1, assuming this question 1, yeah, the nature of the question, you cannot answer the question 2 because you can't answer both at the same time. So you have one way of selecting these two. Then if you answer question 2, you have, though you see 2 questions here, you cannot answer one. So you have another way, saying, oh, you have 2 ways of answering questions here. So if you like, you can do your usual 1 combination 1, 10 times. That's what she did. But I remember I told you during our lesson that if you are mature, you can move from your number of ways to this straight away. Because it will be 2 times. Here you have, this will be 2, you have 8 in all, so this will be 6. So, and you've answered what? In this case, you have, if you can only answer 1 question here at a time. So it means only 1 question that is gone. So you have to answer 5 here. So that will give you your 6. And the rest, you know, okay, you should be able to deal with it. Okay, so as for the simplification, you are all experts. Okay, how to evaluate that. Okay, so at this point, we come to D. D, exactly 3 of the first 4. So again, okay, is it exactly 3? Yes, exactly 3 of the first 4. So it means the first 4 and the remaining 4. So do this, please. If this happens to be a rock, don't forget to strike it out. Strike it out. Okay, now we are not done with this when you are done to strike it. Okay, so exactly 3 of the first, okay, 4 questions. The first 4 questions and the remaining. But the 4 questions here, I can answer only 3. So it will be 4 combination 3. And here, once I've answered 3, I need to answer 3 more, but from the remaining 4. So again, times 4 combination. She did perfectly well. So M1, the rest, you know, you should be able to deal with it. Okay, so that will be it for D. Now let's go and look at what that's of the E. Okay, at least, okay, 2 of the first 4 questions. So again, the first 4 questions and the next or the rest of the 4 questions, the remaining question, which will be 4. So he said at least 2. So remember, 2 means, at least means, okay, 2 or more. 2 or more. But here, because we are talking about the first 4, okay, the maximum number of questions that we can answer here will be 4. So it will be 2, 3, 4. You can't go beyond. And remember, so 2, 3, 4. That's how I taught you. And if I answer 2 questions here, I have to answer. I need 6 questions, so I have to answer. I have to come and answer 4 here. If I answer 3 here, I have to come and answer 3. Okay, 4 here, I have to come and answer 2. All of them are okay, valid possibilities. So these are the 3 possibilities. So you know it will be 4 combination 2 times 4 combination 4. And then if you come down, it will be plus 4 combination 3 times 4 combination 3, then plus what? 4 combination 4 plus 4 combination, sorry, times 4 combination 2. And that's exactly what she has here. So that one, due to the volume of work, okay, 1.5, M 1.5. So the rest, you know, I told you when you have this situation, use your calculator to do the individual one. So she did exactly that. Then you end up getting this. Then F, okay, similar to what we have, only that this time around, it is at most. So at most 3 of the first 4. So at most 3 means 3 is the ceiling, but you know, okay, from 3 you can come down to 2, you can come down to 1 and 0. You can choose not to answer any of the, but we check whether that will give us a possible validity. So in this case, because you said at most 3, I start from a 0, 1, 2, 3. I will end at 3. Or someone can also, just as I told you in class, it could be 3, 2, 1, 0. In any case, you get the same thing. So if I answer 0 here, I need to answer 6 questions here. If I answer 1 here, I need to answer 5 questions. If I answer 2 from the first 4, I need to answer 4 here. If I answer 3, I need to answer 3 here. You know, in total, if you sum this, you should always guess the total number of questions to be answered or to answer. So in this case, you know, okay, obviously, okay, this will not be a valid possibility because of this. You cannot do 4 combination 6, so this will be out. You cannot do 4 combination 5, 2, so this will be out. Okay, here, all your numbers here are, okay, less than, you can get less than or equal to this, but you can't get it beyond that. It will give you a valid possibility. So you need to work on this. So she realized that this valid can be computed. So she came to write, okay, the ones that will be valid. But I guess she did the 3, 2, 1, 0. So she started with this one, okay, followed by this. Okay, but addition is commutative. Which one is that? So you simplify, you get what you have. Okay, so with this one too, the total will be, okay, remember from the A up to what F, we are going to get 32 marks. Okay, 32 marks. So 32 will be plus the bonus in, or it is 31. Then the actual marks will be 31 plus one bonus, making it 32. And again, okay, those who will get the one bonus mark will be those who will sum their marks and get, okay, 29 up to 31. Okay, that is when you can access this, okay, one mark for the bonus. Take note, making your total marks for question. And now question 4, which was an entirely new question. But please take note, this question is a past question. Direct, okay, past question, WASI. So after walking you through the topic, okay, I encourage you to solve past questions, though we pick some of the past questions and solve together. Okay, but I was expecting you to try the other ones that you didn't go through, because I realized that you were well equipped to handle any other questions based on the questions that I selected to solve. Okay, so with this one, let's see. People try to arrange the letters in the word ducklings, taking 4 letters at a time. Find the number of ways of the arrangement. If so, again, we are looking for number of ways. Any of the letters can be used. So this one, okay, I was surprised some of you were using the box. Okay, this one is just, okay, the usual one. Okay, so with this one, we are dealing with, because you don't have any duplicates, obviously. So we'll be having, okay, how many you count. So let me walk you through the solution anyway. So your question number very critical. Giving ducklings, okay, therefore, number of ways will be equal to, and this will give you can see that we are talking about arrangement. So it will give you 9 letters, okay, and you are arranging 4 at a time, so permutation 4. That's all about it, and you know how to evaluate this using the computational formula. That will be it. So it will not be, please take note, it will not be 9 times 9 times, okay, what you have there for now. Okay, you cannot do that. This one is just the general one. Okay, have this number of letters taking part, so it should always be how you deal with that. Okay, and looking at the answer, okay, you can use this same technique to deal with it, but it shouldn't have been this way. Okay, take note of that. Okay, so try that off. What anyway, when we meet in class, if you have any doubts, especially those who did that, if you have questions, you can ask. Okay, after watching the video, and I'll explain, but I will encourage you to go this route. Okay, then let's come to II. Okay, it must begin with a vowel. It must begin with a vowel. Okay, so in this case, you know, we need to go and pick the number of vowels from, okay, the ducklings, and this way you can make use of whatever that I told you, your 4, okay, so 1 times 2 times 3 times 4. Okay, and that's what she did. So if you are supposed to start your word with a vowel, then you need to go and look at the vowels. Then you have 2 of them, U and and I. So it means my first position, okay, I have 2 ways of filling that position. So that will be 2. Okay, then times, and obviously here, okay, you can see that I don't know, you can see what the person did. All along, you can see that the person was reducing. So I don't know why, when you were dealing with the other one, you didn't reduce. I'm talking about when you were doing the 9 times whatever, you didn't do 9 times 8 times 7 times 6. I don't know why you didn't do that. Okay, but here you are. Okay, so when we meet in class, please, or after watching the video, you can draw my attention to that, why it's not supposed to, or why you even did it. I know, okay, you know that here, because we cannot, okay, repeat. Obviously, you should know. Okay, you cannot have maybe a vowel U will be here, okay, and you can use the U again. No, because there is only one U. You get my point. Okay, so indirectly, we are trying to tell you that every point in time, what you have there must reduce. So here, this will be occupied by either you or I. So if U is here, then it means U has been used. You cannot use U again because you have only one U. So that should even tell you that, okay, repetition is not what allowed, sort of. You should know, okay, indirectly, repetition is not allowed. Okay, so at this point, because repetition is not allowed, that's the more reason why this now will have 8 ways. So if I was here, then I will be out. The rest can take this, the rest of the letters there can take this position. If it was you that you use, then you cannot be used, but I could be used. Okay, and it will be only one letter. So, I guess you get my point. So here, once one is used here, you can't use it again. So as you keep on, it will be reducing, and that's what the person should have done here. Okay, I mean, those who use the 9, I don't know why you treated this one as repetition is allowed and this repetition is not allowed. Okay, all of them, it will not be allowed, so please take notes. Okay, so you know how to deal with it. I will give you a lot of thinking will go into this before you get your M2. Okay, so then your A1. And this one, number of ways will also be, we are saying, what's the condition? It must end with any of the letters K, N, G, and S. So it means here, I start with my, okay, last digits. Okay, did I say digit letter? That it must end with it, but that's where the restriction, okay, apart from all that, you have a major restriction on this. So fix that one first before you go to the other ones. So here, because you have 4 of the letters, it means this one, okay, this position would be taken by K, N, J, and S. So 4 ways of filling this. So take notes. So if this position is taken by K, then it means K will not be available for the other positions. Okay, even for the first one. So now you go to the first, and I believe you get it. If N is here, if G is here, if S is here, it will not be. So at every position, so one letter has been used here. So if you come for the first position or come to the first position, okay, that letter will not be available. Originally, you have 9. So this will have 8 ways. Okay, the letter that will be used here cannot be used. So the next one will give you 7. The letter that will be used here cannot be used. So that will give us 6. And this will give us the result. Okay, so this question, okay, in actual fact, was also a question that we did in class together. So this indirectly is a bonus question. Okay, however, I will still walk you through because some of you still, they didn't get it right. So as usual, given this were the digits given, and we are asked to find, okay, a number greater than what? All the numbers greater than what? 3,000. The number of ways that we can do that from the digits that we are given without repetition. So in this case, it is clear that information is given direct without repetition. So you underline that very critical. So now, what do we do? And again, we are looking at numbers greater than. Remember, I told you there is no way you have a 1, okay, digit number that will be greater than, okay, 3,000. 2 digits number that will be greater than 3,000. 3 digits number that will be greater than 3,000. Okay, but we can have 4 digits number and 5 digits number. So we are going to look at, okay, these two separately. So if your number, okay, which is greater than 3,000 is a 4 digits number, then it means you are going to have 4 places to fill. Take notes. Okay, however, if your 4 digit number will be greater than 3,000, then it means it cannot start with 1. It cannot start with what? 2. I can start with 3, 4, and 5. So the first position will have 3 ways of filling. So now you know how to. So if this is occupied by maybe 3 or even 4 or 5, one of them, okay, that one cannot be used because repetition is not allowed. So your second position, that one will go. But the second position, 1 can come in, 2 can also come in. So your first position, remember we left out these 2 because we cannot have a number that will start with, a 4-digit number that will start with 1 and be greater than 3,000. And again, start with 2 and be greater than 3,000. But the digits will be available for the other positions. It's only the first position that these 2 digits will not be available. So you have 5 digits, 1 here. So the next one, the 2 will come in. So you are going to get 4. Cannot be repeated. So 3, then what? 2. Same for this one. But for this one, you are looking at so you have 5 digits, 4 digits number or a 5-digit number that would be greater than 3,000. So what do we do? 5-digit number we know. Okay, if it can start with any of them. If you have a 5-digit number and start with 1, it is automatically greater than 3,000. It starts with 2 is greater than. So the first position will be filled by any of the digits here. So you have 5 ways. So if the first position is taken by maybe 1, 1 will not be available because repetition is not allowed. Okay, so then it will be reducing by 1 till you get to your place. Okay, in terms of the position. Okay, then you get there. So at this point, you do this with your calculator. Remember, I told you don't do the whole of this. Do it term-wise. Your calculator, use your calculator to calculate the terms, okay, individually. So this will give us 72. This will give us 120, and you end up getting 192 weights. Okay, so take photo of the marks allocated and do the needful. So in this case, okay, you have 2 marks. Okay, 2 marks. This question is, more technical than what we, okay, that's why I gave you 2 marks. So with this one, okay, it's 18 marks in all, plus 2, making it what, 20. But this is how you get your bonus. Okay, if you get 16 to 18, okay, you get your 2 bonus marks. However, if you get 14 to 15, okay, or even 15.5, let me put it that way, okay, you are supposed to get only 1 mark. So of the 2 bonus marks, take note of that. All right, okay. So in all, if you sum questions 1, okay, then up to 4, the marks, you are supposed to get 100 marks. So indirectly 100%. So please do the needful. Okay, put down any questions after watching the video, okay, which will come in the YouTube form. You can, okay, like the video. You can also share and you can pass your comments. So ask questions in your comments if you have any issues, or you can still WhatsApp me. I will address those issues. Okay, so at this point, okay, thank you very much, and God bless us all.